Hello everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the massive, the wonderful Trugg, the Troggoth King. Absolutely worthy of the name. He's really cool, he's really big, and he is, well, going to get painted up by us today. Massive thank you to Games Workshop for sending me this one early. I've been looking forward to painting him for a while, and we are going to jump in and we are going to start doing this immediately. Now, he has been primed in Grace here because he's quite cold and swampy, and well, the colour we're going to be using first is not a contrast paint. It is in fact going to be Bloodreaver Flesh, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of his arms, his legs, but not his tummy. We're going to apply this over the top of his face as well. And this might take a couple of thin coats, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to start down here at the hand, and then we're going to get this all over like that, and we're going to bring it all the way up to this shoulder. So we're just going to kind of get up to where we get to the thing, and then we're just going to go around it and under it like there. That's as much as we're going to do. Like that. And we're going to do the same thing over here up to the rock formation, and on his back we're basically going to do up to here. So I'm going to go up to there. We're going to go round to here. And we're also going to apply this over the rest of his arms and legs. And of course, over the top of his face, as mentioned. I'm going to bring this in to those spikes. Around there, like that. So you just want to colour in the rest of it, and then once that's done, we'll come back. So with all that Bloodreaver Flesh applied and still drying at the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Targor Rageshade, and we're going to apply this over the top of, well, essentially the rest of his skin. So we're just going to come in here like this. And we're looking for a nice smooth finish on this belly here. So just be quite mindful of any pooling. And just move that paint around until it looks something like that. So with that done, just whilst we're waiting for that to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Druchii Violet, and we're going to apply this over the top of our Bloodreaver Flesh. So with that done, the belly should now be dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Gryph-Charger Grey. And we're going to start around the back here. And we're going to apply this over the top. Like this. I'm going to bring this round. Like this, down to that kind of roll, out to where we've got the little mark. Then we're going to wash the brush, and then we're just going to blend it out. Like so. Then we're going to colour in the rest of this area. Like that. Wash the brush one more time. Take the water off it. And then we're just going to blend it out a little bit, just around there, like so. You then want to take a little bit of the Gryph-Charger Grey, and around here, basically want to do a brush width. Then we're going to wash the brush. And then we're going to blend it out like so. With that then done, what we're going to do with the Gryph-Charger Grey is we're going to do it again on the other side. So in here, this is a lot easier, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Gryph-Charger Grey, and right up there, we're going to apply this like this, getting it all over, bring it down. Like that over the belly. And then going to wash the brush, and then just in there, we're just going to do a little bit of blending. It's not going to be very noticeable around here, but you do want to beat a little bit of parity. And then we just take it back up round the rest of his back. Like that. Then what we do, because we're not done yet, is we take that Gryph-Charger Grey and we apply this over the top of this kind of top part of the skin. Like so. And then over the top of each of the shoulders, we're going to do this as well. But what we're going to do here is we're going to apply this like that all over the shoulder. And then we're going to bring it down just a little bit. Then we're going to wash the brush. Then we're going to blend it out. once again on this shoulder as well. So I'm just going to bring it up around about this kind of distance. Wash the brush. And then blend it out. Make sure you watch for any pools there, like that. Turn it over. And then one more time up this part of the arm. Let me wash the brush. And do a little bit of blending. Like that. So with that all done, we've got another spot of blending to do, of course. And this is going to be a roughly 1-to-1 mix of contrast medium and black Templar. I'm going to be doing this over the same areas that we've just done with the Gryph-Charger Grey. We're looking to darken this right down. But what we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit less. So we're going to apply this like this. Over the top of this area. We're then going to bring it out to around about there this time. We're then going to wash the brush. And we're just going to blend it out like that. Going to do the same thing up here. Like that. Wash the brush. Just like that sort of thing. Then we're going to go over the top of those areas on the shoulder. Again, just bring it up a little bit. Then wash the brush. Then smooth out those transitions. Flip him over. Then come right in here. And do it again on this side. Just like that. We're going to do this also over the top of this top area, only this time what we're going to do, I'm going to apply this like this over the top of that whole bit, wash the brush, and then essentially wipe quite a bit of it off over the top of that kind of large roll, and then we get this all over like this. Bring it round. Wash the brush. And then from this angle here, you can get in there. Get our blend on. Then we just need to get this all over that little bit there. Wash the brush. Get a little bit of blending on going on there. And we just need to grab a little bit more here. Just one dollop of Black Templar, followed by a dollop of Contrast Medium. And then over this shoulder, we apply it, wash the brush, and then blend it out. Just whilst we're waiting for that to dry, in the interest of speeding things up a little bit, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of Nuln Oil. We're basically going to use this to recess shade our muscles. And with all of that done, we're then going to take some Magos Purple and we're going to apply this essentially over the flats of the muscles. on the arms and on the legs. And so with that all done, the skin is now officially as bruised as we needed it to be. So what we need to do is we now need to finish off those blacker details. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some black Templar and just around where it needs to be darker, so kind of where those Bloodreaver Flesh areas are, we're going to once again apply the black Templar like this. We're then going to wash the brush and we're then going to once again do a little bit of casual blending. Like this. Wash the brush. We can just stipple away at those areas. So what you'll see is the Bloodreaver Flesh that we've done starts to blend out into, well, the Bloodreaver and all that purple, and the Targor Rageshade areas blend out as well. So we get this all over. Like that. Wash the brush. We don't need to worry about the shoulders. Or anything like that. There we go. Perfect. So with that all done, we're now going to hit pause on that skin just for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion and we're just going to apply this over the top of all of the hair. So with all of that Black Legion now applied, we're then going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur and I'm going to apply this over the top of his loincloth. With that Gore-Grunta Fur applied to the loincloth, we're then going to take some Terradon Turquoise and we're going to apply this to the kind of scaly bits that are on either side. Whilst we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to take some Aggaros Dunes and we're going to apply this over the top of the toenails and the fingernails. But what we're also going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of his ears. And with that done, we're then going to use Aggaros Dunes and Creed Camo on these vines hanging from his arm. So we're going to take Creed Camo first. I'm going to apply this over the top of those hanging vines. Like so. Then I'm going to wash the brush, then grab some Aggaros Dunes, then we're just going to add this over the top. Like so. So with that all done, we're then going to use some Garaghak sewer and going to use this over the top of any of the kind of ropes and little straps and things scattered around. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Snakebite Leather and I'm going to use this over the top of these little bits of fabric. On either side of his head. And with that done, we're then going to take some black Templar. I'm going to apply this over the top of this little stone. With that black Templar applied, it's now time to take some Volupus Pink. And we're going to apply this over the top of his tongue and his gums and the inside of his mouth. Like that. We've also got his kind of bottom lip as well. Like that. Then, over the kind of tip of his nose, we want to add some Volupus Pink. Like that. Then we want to wash the brush. And then we just want to kind of just blend it in. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of the skulls, the bones, and his teeth. So with that done, we're now going to add some shades. We're actually going to try and finish off the areas that we've already done so that we can move on to the rest of it, just to keep this kind of nice and procedural and just so we've got a good handle on things. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Gryph-Charger Grey next, and we're going to use this over the top of the toenails, just give them a little bit more dirt. We'll do the same thing over the top of the fingernails. And we're also going to use this over the top of the ears. So with that done, we're then going to use some black Templar over the top of our Terradon Turquoise areas. And with that now done, we're then going to use some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to use this to shade the Snakebite Leather, the Gore-Grunta Fur, and that's it. And so with that now done, we've got one more kind of quite fiddly bit to do before we get into the highlighting, and that is to take some Blood Angels Red. And I'm going to use this on the inside of all the little glyphs and things scattered around his skin. So this is going to include the ones on his darker flesh, as well as the ones on his belly. So with that done, the body is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready, and it's looking pretty cool. However, we are now going to take it to the next level. We're going to highlight it up, then we're going to work on the hammer and the antlers, and then finally on this large piece on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to firstly take some thinned down Knight-Questor Flesh, and we're going to use this to do a couple of things. So firstly, what we're going to do is with any kind of little bobbles on the dark skin, like that one there, we're just going to pick them out. Like that sort of thing. Whereas for the rest of it, what we're going to do is we're going to add reasonably wide highlights. So for example, around this wrist, just like that sort of thing. So with all of that Knight-Questor Flesh applied, we're then going to take some Karak Stone, and we're going to do a little bit of dry brushing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to dry brush this over the top of all the hair. Like that sort of thing. We're also going to dry brush this over the black areas of the skin. And we're going to use this to gently catch the bobbles in all of our Bloodreaver Flesh darker areas. Just like that sort of thing. Apply this over the hands a little bit as well. Just take your time here. Very gently build this up. So with that Karak Stone dry brush applied all the way around, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Administratum Grey. I'm going to add little dots on all of the kind of darker bobbly areas. Just like this sort of thing. And so with that then done, we're then going to take some Flayed One Flesh. And we're going to use this to add little tiny highlights around our bobbly bits in the darker areas. Like that. And we're also going to use this to add just a little tiny little bit of spot highlighting here and there. Around the rest of the skin. So with that done, the skin is now all finished all the way around. It's looking pretty awesome. But we've got a lot more to do. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take some thinned down Russ Grey. I'm going to use this to highlight the eyes by just popping a good dot over the top, like that. And he's got his other eye right in there as well. Like this. However, we're also going to use the Russ Grey to highlight our Terradon Turquoise areas. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Fenrisian Grey. I'm going to add a little highlight of this around this eye. Like that. And we're also going to use this to pick out the sharpest points in our Terradon Turquoise areas. And so with that done, we then take some Terradon Turquoise and we're going to apply this over the top of the eyes, as well as the little surrounding area. Like that. And so with that now done, we're then going to take some Karak Stone once again, and we're going to use this to add some little line highlights going along the fingernails and the toenails. And so with that done, we're then going to take some thinned down Wraithbone, and we're going to use this to highlight the teeth as well as the spikes on the top of his head. And so with that Wraithbone applied, we're then going to take some Pink Horror. I'm going to use this to highlight the tongue and the gums. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Cygor Brown. I'm going to use this to highlight the loincloth. Just picking out all those edges in the fabric. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Jakero Orange. I'm going to use this to add a little bit of a spot highlight to that loincloth. So with that done, part one is now finished. As you can see, the bottom half of him is looking pretty fantastic. So now we're going to move on and we're going to start with the weapon. Now the colour we're going to be using first for this is a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Contrast Medium and Cygor Brown. And this is just so we really bring out those lovely red tones in the Cygor Brown. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all the wood. So with that done, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. We're going to apply this over the top of the shell. And with that Dawnstone applied, we're then going to take some Ratling Grime and we're going to apply this over the rest of the kind of rock. And so with that Ratling Grime applied, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over top of all of the strapping. So with that now done, we're then going to take some Gryph-Charger Grey. I'm going to use this to shade the shell. And with that Gryph-Charger Grey applied, we then take a little bit of Targor Rageshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of those rocks. So with that done, all of the base coats are now on the mace / hammer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on those antlers. And well, the colour we're going to be using first is a roughly 1-to-1 mix of contrast medium and Ratling Grime. And this is to give us a really nice flow as we apply this over the top. We get this all over. Just like this sort of thing. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Militarum Green. I'm going to use this to do a little bit of blending here. So what we want to do is we want to apply this over the tips of the antlers, and then we want to blend them out into the main area. So we're going to apply this like this, bringing it down to around about there. Like that. Wash the brush and then smooth out that transition like so. And then we flip it over and quickly do the other side. Like this, bringing it to around about there like that. Wash the brush. Then we just blend it out a little bit. Like that. Then we go again over the next one, which is this one just here. Wash the brush. And smooth it out. Flip it over and do the other side. Gonna wash the brush. Just gonna move some of this over into here. Smooth it out. Flip it over one more time. And then we're going to do the big one. Start with this one up here. Bring it down. Bring it out. Flip it over. Wash the brush and then just blend it out once again on this side. You won't have to do it on the other one because the angle of the dangle is such that you should already have a nice bit of blending going on just there. Like that. And then of course we're going to do the same thing that we've just done here on this set just here. So with that Militarum Green applied, we're then going to once again take Aggaros Dunes and Creed Camo. I'm going to apply this to the hanging moss, or creepers, or sludgy bits. So we're going to start once again with that Creed Camo and get it all over these little sections. Like that. We're then going to wash the brush. Then we're going to grab some Aggaros Dunes. I'm just going to get in there. And mix the two colours on the model. Like that. You can always just move straight on, but I like to wash the brush between each pass. So with that then done, we're going to once again take Ratling Grime. I'm going to use this to do another little bit of blending. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do it across this kind of central part of the horns, or the antlers I should say. So we're going to apply this, starting around about there, bring it down like this, bring it right across, and make sure we get that whole section nice and covered. Like that. Then we're going to wash the brush. Then we're going to get in here and get our blend on. Like that sort of thing. And then we're going to do the same thing on the inside. Bring it up to around about there. Like so. Wash the brush. Then get our blend on. So we get this really nice kind of dark section right in the middle of the antler. And then what we do is we take a little bit of this and just on the other side of that cut of that bit of leather, we then just add a little bit of it, wash the brush, and then just blend it into the base of the antler, like that. And we quickly flip it over and do the same thing again. It's pretty much like a brush width that you need on this side. Like that. And then we're just going to replicate this on the other one. So with that now done, what we're going to do is going to once again take some Garaghak sewer and we're going to apply this over the top of the straps. And with that Garaghak sewer applied, we're then going to once again take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of the skulls. So on our journey of Trugg, the Troggoth King, we have now got the hammer and the antlers up to that War Hipster Battle Ready stage. And whilst we could highlight it now, you'll be pleased to hear that actually what we're going to do is we're going to get the rest of it to War Hipster Battle Ready, because there aren't a ton of highlights up there and we can just roll those in to later on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a little bit of fun, except we've been having fun this entire time, but what we're going to do is we're going to work on all of this kind of bottom rock here. I'm going to be using 3 colours to do this: Ratling Grime, Wildwood and Snakebite Leather. And what we're going to do is we're basically just going to mix on the model. So we're going to start with Ratling Grime and we're going to be applying all of this over the top of the kind of fallen ground rock that we have, like so, until we feel like our brush is nearly empty. Kind of like that much. Then we're going to wash the brush, grab some Wildwood, and then starting inside the Ratling Grime, we're then going to move more of that paint around. Like that sort of thing, covering over even more of this rock. Like that. Then we wash the brush and then we grab a little bit of Snakebite Leather, and again starting inside where we just were, we're then going to move some of this around, just like that. And then we wash the brush one more time and we go back to the beginning with Ratling Grime, starting inside the Snakebite Leather. We then move this around, till our brush starts to empty. Wash the brush, grab the Wildwood, start inside the Ratling Grime and begin to move. Just like this sort of thing. Wash the brush. And once again, Snakebite Leather. And begin to move. So with that all done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of, well, any of the skulls. Such as that one just there. Like that. And we're going to apply this over the top of the sandstone. So with that all done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Hexwraith Flame. I'm going to use this to do a little bit of blending once again. So over the top of the sandstone up here, we're going to apply the Hexwraith Flame like this, coming down to around about there on this side. Make sure we get it on that inside track and on the outside as well. We're then going to wash the brush, and then we're going to blend it out. Then going to come over onto this side. Do the same thing again. Although, admittedly, because that vine is right there, don't really need to do any blending on that side. Have a little bit of a heavy build up just there. Just going to pick that up. I'm going to flip it round. And again, because of the vine, you don't need to do too much in the way of blendy. Like that. And then we've got the inside track just around here. And again, because of the vine, don't need to do too much in the way of blending. So we've done that side, but then similarly, we need to do the other side. So what we're going to do, bring it down here. Get down the inside bit as well. Wash the brush. And then blend it out. And then we're just going to replicate that. Along the other edges. So with that done and drying, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia. I'm going to use this to shade the rest of the sandstone. So we get a little bit of variation. Not too much, but enough to just clearly distinguish it from the skulls and bones. So we're just using this on the stone. So with that Seraphim Sepia all applied, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts Dark Angel's Green to 1 part Black Templar mix. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of our vines. So with that now done, we're going to then take some Tesseract Glow because our stonework should be dry. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply the Tesseract Glow in a kind of stippling motion towards the tips. Of the stonework. So with that done, whilst we're waiting for all of it to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down lead belcher and we're going to apply this over the top of the armor, the shield, and the little sword. So that done, and again, whilst we're waiting for that to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Garaghak's sewer. I'm going to apply this over the necklace on our little tiny Trogg. Just there like that. And over the top of this little cable tie up here. And with that done, we're then going to take some Magos Purple and we're going to apply this over the flesh of our little Trogg. And at the same time, we're also going to use some Volupus Pink. We'll get to that in just a second. Because what we're going to do is once we've got this Magos Purple over the top of all of the skin, we're going to bring it up over the top of the little mushrooms. Like that. Then we're going to wash the brush, grab that Volupus Pink and apply this over the top. Like that. And over the top of his little cloth just down there, like so. So with that done, we finally have all of our base coats on Trugg. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those shades. So the first one is going to be not a shade, it's going to be Terradon Turquoise. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of the metal. And with that Terradon Turquoise applied, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade all of the vines. So with that done, Trugg is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready all over at long last. He's looking pretty awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start finishing him off by adding some highlights. And the first of these is going to be a dry brush of Tyrant Skull. And we're going to use this to dry brush all of the rock, the sandstone, the skulls, all of it. So with that now done, a vast amount of highlights have been applied. So, including up here on the hammer. But what we're going to do next is we're going to take some thinned down Green Camo. And we're going to use this to highlight areas such as those little vines and creeping areas by just adding little dots and little lines on the sharpest bits where it's kind of dripping down. Like that sort of thing. And because we forgot to do it earlier, we can do it on this one down here as well, on the arm. Like that sort of thing. What we're also going to do is we're going to use this to highlight the greenest tips of the antlers. So for example, just that much there. That much there. That much there, like that. I'm going to do this all the way around. So with all of that Green Camo applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Rageshade Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight quite a few different details. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to use this on the remaining areas of the antlers that we haven't already highlighted. So we're going to go across these kinds of ridges and edges. Just like this sort of thing. We're also going to use the Rageshade Flesh to highlight the shell up here. Like that sort of thing. We're also going to use this to highlight kind of very tips of the hammer, looking down a little bit of a kind of almost like a spot highlight there. And what we're also going to do is we're going to use this to pick out the sharpest points on our green vines. So with that done, what we're then going to do is take a little teeny amount of Terradon Turquoise and we're going to apply this over the top of the eyes of our tiny Trugg. Like that. And finally, believe it or not, we're going to finish it off by taking some Slaanesh Grey and just applying this to the sharpest points on our teeny little troll. Just like that. And just like magic, Trugg, the Troggoth King, is now finished. So here we have it then. A completed base means a completed Trugg, the Troggoth King. And he's an absolutely stunning centerpiece. He really is very, very, very cool. And I'm very, very pleased with how he's come out. That skin was a little bit of a challenge to get the right tone, but I think we've absolutely nailed it here. Bloodreaver Flesh really is an absolutely fantastic paint to work from. And I'm a bit pleased with those blends on the belly. Seriously. Very pleased. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support me a little bit further, you absolutely can do. Head over to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And you can also become a YouTube channel member, just like this incredible bunch of folks scrolling up on the screen before you. There's a hell of a lot of you, and well, I can't do this without you. YouTube and Patreon, you guys absolutely keep the lights on and make all of this worth it. Thank you so much to all of you for everything you do. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.